What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. I am Jess. Thanks for clicking on today's video. I have a fun video for you today. It is the part 3 of the 90-day weight loss challenge that we're doing here on this channel. It's called the New Year Better Me, and it is a 90-day challenge where each month I tackled, if you will, my health goals. So for the first month, I did not focus on anything but nutrition. I'll link the playlist right here, or whatever the cards are. But for the first month, I solely focused on nutrition. Month 2, once I navigated conquering nutrition, I added in exercise. And then after, that's the last 2, or I should say the last 2 months or 60 days approximately, we're now in month 3. So I was going to talk about the goal for the month, or the theme for this month, to complete this 90-day challenge. In addition to that, I have a yummy recipe that I will include at the end of this video. It's one of those viral or trending recipes that you've probably seen, and if you haven't, I'll make sure you do. So that is coming up. But real quick, I'm gonna run to the store and get the 2 ingredients that are needed to make this recipe. It's so easy, and it's so tasty, and then also it's crunchy. That's something you don't get often when you're doing like a non-fried or unprocessed or all those things, all those words. When you're eating a much more clean diet, having stuff that's crunchy is a little harder to get. So this one is, that'll check that box. So anyways, I'm gonna run to the store and I'll be right back. And real quick, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Element. There we go. Element electrolytes are my absolute favorite electrolytes. They're the only brand that I reach for. I've been using them for 3-4 years now. They are just my absolute favorite. And one of the reasons is I love that they are a science-backed ratio of electrolytes. So in each packet, you're getting 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 grams of magnesium. All I do is add 1 packet into my water and I mix it up. I drink on it all throughout my workout, when I'm doing intermittent fasting, when I'm just trying to make sure I get my water in and stay hydrated, to help with the hunger waves of emotions. I just sip on my water in those times I think I'm hungry, you know, that kind of thing. But in addition to that, they are sugar-free, gluten-free, and have no artificial flavors, fillers, colors, dyes, that kind of thing. Just a delicious tasting electrolyte. I personally love the watermelon flavor. My husband is a huge fan of the citrus. My kids, especially during the summer, now that it's starting to get warmer in Texas, spring and summer sports, they love the orange in their drinks. Both my girls play select softball, and with my oldest being a catcher and a pitcher, the amount of sweat that comes off of her just is crazy. So these are a great way to help her stay hydrated and not load her down with a bunch of sugar. And with that said, you can get this free sample pack and give them a try for yourself. Try all the flavors, and you can get this for free with any purchase using my special link right here. You can use my special link as many times as you want, but it's only available for the Keto Rewind community. So go to drinkelement.com/Keto Rewind and get your free sample pack. Thanks, Element, for sponsoring this video. Now let's talk about part 3 of our 90-day weight loss challenge. Okay, so for part 3 of this challenge, the New Year Better Me weight loss challenge, remember, go up here to see parts 1 and 2, or the first 30 and 60 days. We focused on nutrition and exercise. That was basically the cliff notes for the last 2 portions of this challenge. So for part 3, we're focusing on consistency. Consistency also looks different to everybody individually. So I want to focus on what consistency means to you. So let's dive into that. So for first things first, I know that from the first challenge where I focused on nutrition, I did a lot of meal planning and meal prep, a lot of things I know I don't normally do, but those things helped keep me in check, so that I had the food in my fridge to make the food that I was trying to make and trying to eat. So I avoided temptation that way. I know that meal prepping and meal planning and all of that thing really helped me focus on the nutrition part, which is the absolute biggest part of the weight loss journey. But by focusing on that, I know that meal prepping and meal planning is a staple. So that is what I'm gonna be consistent, or I'm gonna continue being consistent with this month. Additionally to that, exercise. Oh my gosh, if I could talk exercise, it's just something that I have to get. I'm not high energy, but I like to move. I like to, I like to just go outside and play. I'm huge into sports. I'm huge into, being active. Yeah, I may not look like that, but I do enjoy that. And that's because you can't outwork a bad diet. Newsflash, but still, I love exercise. It helps get the crazy out of my head. I come back a new person. I may not like to get up and go tie out of the shoes and go for that walk. I might gripe for that whole first mile, but by mile 2 and 3, I am so happy I did it, and I'm just like refreshed, right? So that's why it may not sound like fun in the beginning to get up and go to the gym or go do whatnot, but once you're in it and you're there in the process, trust the process. Once that works, those endorphins just be like, yes, that felt so good. I'm so proud of myself, and all the feels start happening. So I'm gonna be consistent this month with going to the gym. I was not here last week, my apologies, but I was sick last week and I did not want to work out. I just was like, I wanted to sit on the couch and just blow my nose and get all the snot out because of my germy kids. But my husband, on 2 days that I was gonna skip my workout, he's like, let's go for a walk. And I was, the whole time, but once, I'm halfway through the walk and I'm telling Kyle, I'm like, I don't wanna be here. I'm joking, but I'm just like, I'm grumbling. And he's like, that's okay, well, you're doing it anyways. So anyways, by the time I got home, although I still didn't wanna do it, I felt so much better, and it was good for me, and it was good to just get up, right? So I felt like crap last week, and that's why I didn't make any videos. I played the sick card, and I had sick kids, sick husband, we were all sick. So it was just one of those things. So don't worry, nothing was wrong. It was just a quick little cold of just a surplus of snot. We went through like 5 boxes of tissues. Anyways, I'm getting back on topic. But the other thing, or the third thing I want to be consistent with is, and what I want to talk about for this video, is our food morals. When you think about your morals, these are things that are ingrained in you. They're just hard lines that you have drawn in the sand personally, and everybody has different morals. A lot of us have similar morals, but we have a hard line that doesn't budge when it comes to our morals, what we believe in, and those things are just things we don't think twice. Like that is that, you know what I'm saying? So I thought, why not have consistent food morals? Instead of putting so much pressure on the lifestyle of dieting, I need to have some hard lines that I define for myself that are my food morals. And for example, I know that I have to limit sweeteners. It doesn't matter if it's sugar-free food or all the sugar. Sugar is why I became morbidly obese. It's something that I'm gonna battle my whole life, right? So I know that I need to be consistent with limiting my sweeteners. And I'm not saying I eliminate, because that is not how life works. We're gonna have times where sweeteners are in our diet, and that's just what it is. For example, a kid's birthday party, I have a piece of the cake I made my kid. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not saying I would never ever have sugar again, but I can say I can limit the sugar, and that makes more sense. That is more doable. That is more realistic. That is more in line with me. But as long as I'm consistent with limiting it, those food morals can become hard lines in the sand, where it's not something I reach for every day or include in my life, but if it happens at a party, a get together, whatever, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Or maybe I'll have the power to be like, no thanks, at that point, right? So it's about making that line in the sand really thick. and what we feel is a food moral is gonna look different for each person. So in addition to that, I'm also gonna limit processed foods. Processed foods with an ingredients list this big, when it should just be like flour and sugar. I'm just making an easy example, but like bread. You look at the store, in the grocery store breads, the list is this big with all the vitamins, minerals, fortified things, like all the crap they put in when it just should be water and flour. You know, like that and yeast if it's like a regular bread. Sourdough uses, you know, like a starter. But I'm just saying in general, I should say 3 ingredients. But a list this long, I'm gonna avoid that like the plague. So that's another food moral that I'm gonna have. So in addition to limiting sweeteners, limiting processed food, another food moral of mine is I want a protein focused food. So like if I choose to eat something, I want, and it's say it happens to be processed, like it's in a package. I want like a protein bar, or that's probably a great way to describe it. If it's a protein bar, I want at least 20% of the calories coming from protein as like the portion of the calories. So that when I look at the back of the package, I want to see at least a number higher than 20% as in the protein section. So I'll put a list, I put an example here on the screen. So here's a Costco low carb protein bar that I do like. This one has 21 grams of protein to 180 calories. So it has actually 42% of the calories are coming from protein versus all the other sources. So what I'm trying to say is I want my snacks or my foods to at least be 20% of the calorie coming from protein in that particular food. And that's because the more protein you can eat, the more that you can hang on to your lean body mass, repair your body, all of your muscles, ligaments, you know, the lean mass of your body, and keeps you fuller longer. Because if you just eat some air, you're gonna be hungry in 5 minutes, you know, but if you're gonna eat something that has a lot of protein in it, that's gonna hold you over longer. So that's one of my goals, that if it happens to be a processed food, it must contain at least 20% of the calories coming from protein. 20% of the calories coming from protein. So, and also when it comes to snacking, I would like to focus on hard-boiled eggs, you know, maybe some sliced lunch meats, or just a rotisserie chicken, you know, just easy things that you can grab. I can take a hard-boiled egg on the go, you know, it doesn't have to be a protein bar, but you know what, a protein shake is a great option if you can find one that meets your food morals. But my food morals when it comes to ingredient list is gonna look different than yours. But I feel like this challenge, you must define what are your food morals. And these are lines that I think that we've gotta really start focusing on, because it's something we shouldn't think about. It'd be like, hey, do you want this? And you'd be like, no. And the reason is that doesn't hit my food moral, you know, and it'd be like if someone said, hey, you wanna go rob a bank? You'd be like, no. That same reaction should be when it comes to a choice for a food. And if you're struggling with something in your head, the stronger your food morals are, the easier it's gonna be to say no, or when you say yes, be okay with that. You know, so if you've clearly defined food morals, you can feel better about what you're doing, and it also lets you to trust the process. So for me, another thing I did last month was I incorporated metabolic flexibility, so that I had a couple cheat days last month that may slow my progress in the short term in regards to how much weight I drop per week. But in the long term, I'm trying to mess up my metabolism so it doesn't get set into a rhythm and start to get less efficient. So when I smack it with something that's a short term, not something I'm staying in, but like a cheat day is a great way to throw in metabolic flexibility. And this way, my body's like, whoa, what are we doing here? And then it doesn't get a chance to set in that rhythm. So for this month, in addition, I'm gonna continue that method where when I have a tournament weekend with my kids, I'm not gonna feel bad because I have a planned cheat day on a weekend after spending 12 hours at the softball fields, right? My cat's crazy right now. I don't know if you heard that on camera, but anyways, when you have a planned cheat day in your head, you don't feel so guilty, you know, like you planned for it, and it's not something that you're gonna lose sleep over, you know. And it also helps with the progress so that your downward trend is going in the right direction. So these are just little things that we can focus on, but the main goal is, what are your food morals? What are your hard lines that you know, some people are a lot more strict and can handle that. I'm not someone that can be that strict, but I do want to limit, you know, like I want to be like this sweet spot between yes, I'll eat that all the time, and no, never. I want to be like right here, you know. I want to just be a little bit more lenient where life is still part of living, but I don't want to be in the yes zone that got me to be morbidly obese. So finding that sweet spot in your food morals that you can easily hit that hard line and say yes and no to, and then start growing that mental toughness. So that is a huge portion of this challenge, because it does tie in the months 1 and 2 of this challenge and make it all make sense. Because at the end of the day, nutrition is key. So what we define in our head and that works and what doesn't work and we know we should be doing, that we choose to do and we stick to doing and we're just all in, that is at the end of the day, whether we're gonna hit this goal of ours or we're gonna keep yo-yoing. So here, this is the last part of this challenge. Then starting next month, we'll have a whole new thing. But for this particular new me, better me, I feel like we gotta tackle those food morals and be consistent with them. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this camera around since we're in the kitchen. I'm gonna make the recipe that I told you about, but it's the viral onion rings made with 2 ingredients. So I'm sure you've probably seen by now the delicious onion rings. So I have a dinner party this weekend and I'm hosting. So one of the cool things about meeting new people is you find people that eat the same way as you do. So I'm hosting a dinner party with people that all like to eat keto or limit sugar and all the crap. So and that just makes me so excited because I love showing them all the recipes that I find and discover. So this one's gonna be a great one. So I thought I'd show you how to make it and how easy. So I am gonna take, and also this falls with my food morals because it is not processed. It's literally Parmesan cheese and an onion. And I'll throw a couple like garlic powder, salt and pepper and stuff, but I'm just saying in general, this fits my food morals and this is keto. This gives me that crunch and it's gonna be super easy and a great option when it comes to like if you need an easy appetizer or you know whatnot. So I'm gonna get my mandolin out so my onions are at least uniform in size and I'll be right back. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is I lined my tray here with some parchment paper. And next I'm gonna put this whole bag of Parmesan cheese right on the bottom. So this bag says 6 ounces. And we're gonna just spread this with clean hands on the bottom. All right, so there you have it, a layer of Parmesan cheese. And all we're gonna do now is just put our onions on here. Now I've got a tray full of onions, right? So I'm gonna put a little salt, pepper, and garlic on next. Now I'm gonna put these in my air fryer. If you don't have an air fryer, just bake them. You don't have to worry about making everything so perfect. Just use what you have. I like my air fryer, so we're gonna use that. So I'm gonna bake these at 400 degrees in my air fryer, and I'm gonna watch them and I'll tell you how long it took. So let's go with that method first. So my air fryer just beeped. It was 11 minutes. At this point, we're gonna just look at them and they look to be done. So I am just gonna let them cool off and not mess with them because it will be crunchier if we just leave them alone. Okay, so at this point, hear that crunch? We're just gonna dice them up. And make them in little onion rings. Well, onion squares. Hear that crunch? All right, so let me get a little plate out. We're gonna take this guy. Some of the recipes I saw, they sprayed a little oil on it, but that's just, I feel like, a useless calories because it's plenty crispy. So I have this. Okay, look at that. Doesn't that look yummy? I also have tzatziki and ranch. Ranch is more like crowd friendly for kids. I am the biggest fan of tzatziki, so I'll be probably reaching for the tzatziki, which is basically Greek yogurt, cucumber, vinegar, and spices. Like, so easy. Just a delicious option if you try to stay, like I'm trying to stay away from seed oils, so tzatziki is what I usually grab for. So anyways, let's give this a taste test. So I'm going for the tzatziki first. All right, so I'm gonna dab it here in the tzatziki. It's actually sweet. It's so good. Definitely have to make this. I'm gonna link a bunch of, there's like so many of these recipes. It's all the same thing, but I'll link one in the description box below. But oh my goodness, definitely good. Nice and crunchy. I bet this would be good with pickles and broccoli. I bet this would go through a lot of options. So anyways, I'll be making this for my party this weekend, and I'll link the recipe down below. Everything you need is in the description box below. Alrighty, I'm gonna head upstairs and get this video edited. Thanks for watching. All the links and stuff from the description box below, and also use my link to get a free sample pack of electrolytes with any order. Thanks Element for sponsoring this video. See you guys at the next one. Bye!